Follow your heart. Ladies and gentlemen, you gotta follow your heart. You gotta do it. As long as you live, gotta follow your heart. That's a goated piece of advice. Timeless. Follow your heart. Well, what if you're like that guy from 1940s in Germany? Stop it. You're not that guy. Stop it. Let's be serious. Let's be real here. Follow your heart. You're a good person. Yes, you. I'm talking to you. It'll never fail to provide clarity and the clarity needed in your life. And it'll never fail to make you happy. Follow your heart. You're never going to regret it. You're never going to regret it. And you can't ignore it either. You know, I wanted to tell a story about how I got here and how I followed my heart and how I got to this point. And I remember in 2020, at like the peak of the panini, as I call it, the pandemic, I live in New York. I've been living here for 12 years. And there's a point where I was in Pennsylvania. I was basically living with my parents for a little bit, because I was shut in here in New York. So I'm like, at least let me spend time with them. Maybe there's a silver lining there. And, I was away from comedy. I was away from my friends. I was away from everything, the 12 years of my life, that I built here, as we all were. I know everyone has gone through some form of this. And I was just, thankfully I was working remotely so I could, kind of save some money. But I was really sad, man. I was depressed, again, like we all were. And there was this one morning, I'll never forget. I was just, I don't know, it was like a weekday, like a Monday or a Tuesday. And I was just overcome with this sadness. And I was so depressed and sad. And I don't get depressed. Depression got me. I got depression. No, I don't. I'm pretty good mentally. But I was really sad. And I started I was eating breakfast and I started crying. My mom saw it, my dad saw it. I'm upset they saw it. Honestly, I'm really upset with myself that my parents, especially my dad, saw me cry. We don't do that. Not in my household. But it's because I felt so far away from the things that I wanted to do. Even though I'm with the people I love, and I was very lucky to be with them. I still was so sad. I'm away from these other things I love, from my friends, in New York, from stand-up comedy. I don't know if you know this, but stand-up comedy doesn't really work in parks and on, the rooftops of apartment buildings. We know this because we tried it for a little bit, and in parks. It works a little bit, but the illusion of stand-up goes away. Stand-up comedy is basically you're a court jester, and you have two arms, but you're holding up 4 spinning plates with your 2 arms, and they all have to keep spinning. It has to be at night. It has to be silent. The audience can't speak. They can talk a little bit if they're interacting. The ceilings have to be low. Sometimes you see comedians go, "Oh, it's a great room. It's a kill room. This is a kill box." What they mean is the ceiling is low, so the laughter doesn't escape up. All these things have to be right, and COVID, pandemic comedy, was the opposite of that. And anyways, Zoom comedy, it's not a real thing. There's nothing to work on, just write on a paper. But I felt so far away from these things that I loved and I had been building my life doing. I was crying, I was upset, I was sad. And I was really upset that day. And then the next day, I'll tell you what I did. I sat down. I wiped the tears off of my face. I had my little Kleenex. I wiped my tears, and I sat down and I put together a plan. And I go, "Steven, I want you to make sure you never, ever feel this way again if you can handle it, if you have a say. And I put together, a 3-year, 4-year plan to go, okay, how can we start doing comedy? How can we start, doing content full time? This pandemic is eventually going to pass at some point. And I put together a plan. And then I didn't really feel sad because I started to follow my heart. And I started working against that. And I had a goal in mind. And I said, this is what we're going to do. We're going to keep stacking our bread. We're going to start to make a little bit of money here and there where we can, maybe from comedy, maybe from content, maybe from some part-time work where it doesn't feel like my soul is being sucked out of my body. And that's no hate to people working full-time jobs. There's no shame in that. I did that for over a decade, like 12 years. There's no shame in stacking your bread while you work on your other endeavors. Keep doing it. Have a plan in place. And then about, last year, 18 months ago, I was finally able to switch and start trying this full time and start doing this full time and really feel okay with it. And am I making a lot of money doing it? No, I'm not. I still wish I had that paycheck. I will be honest with you. I definitely wish I still had that extra income coming in, that extra savings. It would help a lot. But I've never been happier, and it's working. Slowly but surely, it is working. Every day, I see it grows stronger. My voice grows stronger. Clarity is better. I feel like I'm really helping people now. I really do. And it's because I'm following my heart. You can't lose when you follow your heart. You cannot. It's always going to be guiding you in the right direction. But what if you're the guy with the mustache? Shut up. You're not. You know it. I know it. And also, let me say this too, actually. If you're doing something creative and you're making a little money, Patrice O'Neal, amazing comedian, he had a great point. He said, every dollar in entertainment is worth like $20 in, I'll say real life, but in a normal job. So if you're making a small amount of money from like your side hustle, be proud of that. Don't ever compare it like to the money that you're making in other jobs because it's gonna take time. If you make 10 bucks playing guitar one day, treat it as 200 bucks, seriously. And the last thing I'll say is, there's books on like the top regrets of the dying. It's always like, it's always the top 5. Like the first one is, I wish I had the courage to live the life that I wanted. And then it's like, I wish I'd let myself be happier. Those are connected. The first one is always, I wish I had the courage to live the life that I wanted. So don't even take it from me. Take it from the regrets of the dying, Don't wait. Don't wait to follow your heart. For the rest of your life, go and follow your heart. I promise you, you will not regret it.